Hello, I'm Kalila Johnson, your undefeated life coach. I am a legacy strategist and mindset coach. There is a quote from one of my mentors, Dr. Cindy Trim, and it states, "Your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. Dream big." So visualize with me. Hundreds of people all leaning in, taking hold of every word spoken as if I were offering them their freedom. I walk across the stage, postured in boldness, with confidence, connecting with every person in the room. Every word is carefully executed with wisdom and persuasion. Everyone under the sound of my voice is captivated, as if I had something they needed and they knew it. With determination, I deliver my words as if they were the key to unlocking them from their invisible prisons of fear, deception, and insecurity. If I had my way, no one was going to leave the same. My words and posture of confidence communicated authority. I tried to hold on to this moment for as long as I could before being pulled back into reality. You see, the temperature of my bath water I was soaking in at the time had turned cold. It was just a daydream. Or was it? This is what I saw years ago. The revelation I spoke with was beyond words I could have made up in my head. You see, at the time, I had trouble remembering how to speak full sentences without losing track of thought. I couldn't let it go. I needed to see her, me, again. It had only been a few hours prior to that moment I was released from a psychiatric ward. I had spent 3 days in group sessions listening to a therapist teach me about coping mechanisms and painting handmade trinkets. Just before that, I was at a hospital getting my stomach pumped from the pills I took to stop my pulse. My doctor at the time had misdiagnosed me with a complex case of bipolar. His many attempts at finding the right combination of medicine to treat me would have him switching my meds every couple of weeks. So I had a grocery bag full of half-empty pills, enough to stop a horse from breathing. Yet there I was, still alive and miserable. My mom was the one who got me help. She came by unannounced on an afternoon she usually would have been at work. I had written my suicide note, took my grocery bag full of pills, and laid waiting for all the hurt to end. Now, I don't know if I wanted to die or if I just wanted to go to sleep so I wouldn't feel the pain anymore. Right when I thought it was almost over, I heard, "Kalila! Kalila!" It was my mom. What in the world was she doing there, I thought. Half groggy but still able to come to, I went downstairs to find my mom in my living room. "Yes," I answered. "What are you doing here?" Then she says, "I need to use your bathroom." Now, not really in the mind to debate her or try to figure out why she had such a weird request, I told her to use the kids' bathroom that was just a few feet away. She said, "No, I want to use yours." And at that point, I was getting very sleepy and it was becoming very difficult for me to stay awake. So I let her go. When she went upstairs to my personal bathroom, she found the note. The note that explained how it wasn't anyone's fault, how it was just too hard to go on, as if that would offer some relief to those I left behind. By the time she got downstairs, I was unconscious. The next moment I remember, I woke up in a hospital with tubes down my throat. The on-duty nurse, Nadine, who was also a family friend, was in the room, and she said, "You're so lucky." I didn't feel lucky. The pain was back with force, tightening my chest and turning my stomach into knots. My reality was, I recently had just caught my then husband cheating again. And when I confronted him, he not only showed no remorse, he had me arrested saying I assaulted him and was bipolar. He never showed any emotion. This was just what I needed as evidence that I was worthless and the lies had taken stronger root, and my children, I thought, would be better off without me. Now, with all the recent tragic events at the time, compiled with the trauma I had experienced my whole life, hearing the words that came from my own mouth in my vision, words of encouragement, faith, empowerment, were words I needed to survive. I remember seeing myself say, "God can do it. Hold on, He'll do it." This wasn't a dream, but a glimpse into my future that gave me hope that my current troubles were in no means the end of the story. Not only have I seen that vision come to pass, but I have had the privilege to grace many stages and see the power of my words and story transform many. And it's only the beginning. The process to getting from there to here was not an easy one, but if I could do it, anyone could. And I plan to continue to use my life story and my truth as a demonstration and blueprint to overturn false verdicts of shame, guilt, and hopelessness. That is why the saying "you will never go where your mind has never been" is such a true statement for me. Where we are is a direct reflection of what we believe, and what we believe can limit our imagination to create a different reality. Toxic generational patterns are often formed from handed down perspectives. Without changing our worldviews, we continue to repeat what we've seen. But there are those that break out of the dysfunctional cycles, the ones who dig deeper and search outside of what's familiar, the overcomers that discover the treasures buried in history. They learn the lessons produced from pain and endure the process to become what has never been. The history makers, world changers, deep thinkers, and problem solvers. But how? If we look through history, we can find stories of those that overcame impossible odds to create incredible futures. And we also can look around us and find many we know who have endured great battles who've never recovered. When I began this deliberate journey of resilience and was faced with difficult challenges I needed to push through, I would repeat to myself, if it can be done, I can do it. I silenced the voices that fed my doubt and digested the stories that developed my faith. Resilience is built by determined decisions that defeat odds and push past all resistance. It's a pursuit. It's taking every thought captive and aligning it with truth. I can, I will, I must. Think back. Have you ever been around someone that after talking to them, you felt defeated, exhausted, or just miserable? What about the times when you were around a person that had the gift that no matter what you were feeling at that moment, they could lift you out of the depths of despair and bring you into the reality that there was hope and possibility? That's why it's so important what seeds you allow to be planted in your mind, because they will reap a harvest, good or bad. Let's face it. We didn't have a choice in what developed us as children, and many times, if unconfronted, we're still making distorted decisions from the past. Many have come from a family who they themselves did not know the power of their words, combined with toxic, repetitious belief systems that were passed on to you. Trust me, I know the struggle. And from generations, many women in my family experienced abuse before the age of 5, and throughout their life repetitively went through abuse, then chose destructive relationships, which further developed deep-rooted fear, low self-esteem, and a victim's mentality. Imagine the difficulty of seeing yourself as worthy after having so many experiences of tragedy. Unfortunately, I did not escape and experience abuse as an adolescent and teenager, and even became a teenage mother. I wanted so desperately to prevent the same fate for my children, but once again, I heard the painful confessions of much of the same. After surviving an abusive marriage that almost mentally destroyed me, I not only fought to survive, I fought to stop the cycle. Enough was enough. After battles to overcome mental anguish and paralyzing thoughts, patterns, suicidal thoughts, and bouts of depression that felt like I was in an invisible prison, I fought my way out by taking captive my thoughts, examining my beliefs, carefully weighing my words, and challenging my fears. This was no cakewalk, but a fight for not only myself, but my bloodline. I didn't want another child or person to deal with this unimaginable pain. So I became intentional of my days, thoughts, habits, environment, and support. I knew I couldn't change the past, but my future was the sum of my decisions. My story may not be your story, but no matter what your story is, if you have struggled in the area of follow through, felt overwhelmed and stuck, you will benefit from my proven strategies. So I want to invite you to my foundational masterclass, 21 days of mastering mental momentum. In these 21 days, I will be teaching the simple daily strategies I use to rebuild and come back even stronger. Many times we build off of the beliefs of our past, never giving ourselves permission to choose a different course. We are not limited by our experiences we've been given, but by the limits of our imagination. So I just want you to understand. You can expand, you can dream, pray, give yourself permission to go where you haven't been. And don't just prepare for the year, prepare for a lifetime. See you on the inside.